Hello, in the ground blind here. All right, as you can see, it's almost dark. Not quite, but it's getting there. It's dark in this blind. And as all you folks have ever hunted a blind with a traditional scope, the blind gets darker than the outside. I know I've gotten out at night in the evening. It's like, man, I could have stayed in there another 10 minutes of light, but things change, light, gets restricted or whatever. Let's talk about where I think the Zulus really shines, and that's right now. So I have it off, and there is a standby mode for, when you fire up the scope, you can put it right in standby. So I'm gonna press the button, and I'm gonna count, and then you're gonna know how long it takes for the scope to come on. Okay, ready? Go. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1003. About 3 seconds. Here's the other part of it. As soon as it comes on, there's a little blue light. You can probably see it a lot better. It's not that bright. It might look brighter in the scope than it actually is. All you have to do is touch it again. It turns amber. You're in standby. And then to go from standby to active, boom, there it is. Now, I don't know how you would do that, or how you would like to hunt, especially the guys that have it. But if you think about it, you're in the last light, and as long as you have enough battery, I'd probably leave it on at these last lights. But think about during the day or whatever like that. But the scope the bow's cocked, it's ready. It's getting dark. Now, it's not going to be 100% perfect because down past me, neighbor's got a security light, but as you can tell, looking through, I don't know if you can see in there or not, but the screen is lit. So remember what we said, this is not a scope. This is a TV screen, and I'm going to look through it a little bit. And when you look, man, it's incredibly bright looking through this, and I don't even have the IR illuminator because there's really no reason to. When I have the bow on, I'm on 6 power. And so, as a traditional scope, when you have it on 6 power, you start restricting that light coming in, because it squeezes it, as it opens up, it squeezes down the light, where you're dialing it back to 3 power to get as much light as you can. But I'm telling you, right now, I have a black, you probably can't see it, but I have a black target. It's about 22 yards down there. I mean, it's illuminated like crazy. I mean, it's like looking at it at 12 noon. Now, here's the other thing about it. I have it on the holdover mode, which is like, it would be like the Burris where you have the crosshair and then it drops the dot. I didn't change it over to the other mode, but there's this center button. When you touch that, you're now changing the reticle, and I'll point out. I mean, right now I've got a reticle, red. Just change the like amber, yellow maybe, black for during the day, white, you can really see the white well, and then green. Now I will tell you, as I have it on 6 power, it does get a little grain to it, okay? It's a little grain, but I mean, it's incredibly clear enough that it doesn't matter, it's just a little bit of grain. Now I'm going to take it down to 3 power. And there's a little wheel in the front. 3 power, that cleans right up, but again, the target looks further away. Looking at it in person versus looking at it in 3 power in the screen, in person to me it looks a little closer than it does in the screen. So I would probably there's 4.5. That's 4.5 is pretty good. Now, interesting, when you dial in, or when you increase the power, like I went from 3 to 4.5, it doesn't, come in closer like you do on a regular scope as you're turning the wheel. It just, once you turn it, it kind of, boom, it's right there. But I'm telling you, this is incredible. I mean, it's dark in here, which you can see. Here I am. You can see out a little bit, but, if you were in the woods, now my backyard's open. If this was a full canopy in October, it would be a lot darker than it is now. but it's this thing really shines right now. I also think it shines on fixed yardages. So in other words, for you guys that hunt in a state where you can bait, it's great because most of the time your deer are coming there. Or if you hunted a stand for 10 years and in October they always come into the acorns, like where I hunt, I put my blind in the same spot every year, and when the acorns are dropping, they're 30 and in. So, you know, it's no big deal at that point. You're not really searching for yardage or anything like that. I think that really shines here. You know, the negative again on this thing, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in a different video. When you're looking from 20 yards to 60, and you're trying to, you do have to manually focus at 60. Now, it's not way out of whack, but you do have to manually focus. All right, I hope that gets the point off of just, again, you can see, I'm looking at it in the phone right there. You can see how it's illuminated. And I don't even have the IR mode on, and this is incredible. I mean, that target looks pretty dark. When you put this thing up there now, you can easily see it. So if you couldn't hunt in a place where you didn't have the IR, you couldn't use the IR mode, and you took it off and put a cap, I don't see where there's a problem, honestly, because this is impressive now. It's more impressive now than it is at high noon when the sun's above you. And I'm going to cover that in the end of the video during the day. But man, right now, if you're a blind hunter, this is incredible right here. And I'm going to take a shot, and that's how we're going to end the video. Let's see if I got it sighted in enough to hit it. It's 22 yards. I got the old Excalibur, the Mag Max. You'll be able to tell if I hit it. Oh, it's a dead deer right there, folks. We're dragging all day. And then that one's not going far because that's exactly where I aimed. All right, stay tuned for part 2 of this video during the daylight. Have a good one. All right, I'm going to kind of finish up my review of the Zulus today. I thought what I showed you last night was fantastic. You know, here it was, you know, the edge of dark. I'm hunting in a blind, which restricts the light. And, you know, I fire the scope up and boom, it's, you know, it's nice and bright. And this is without even using, you know, the IR mode or you know, any of the night vision stuff. That wasn't even using that. So that part was very pleasurable, I will tell you. But there is, for every yin, there's a yang, and right now, to me, with the sun, that's the yang of this. So, as you can see, a couple things. First of all, I got the Zulus back about as far as I can get it. Now, that might just be my personal preference. I like them close, but, you know, that's back there. And I do have this rubber eyepiece on, sunshade, but you can take it on and off. It just screws in real easy. But here's what I found out. When I first come out here to shoot during the day, and it was a day like today where the sun was kind of straight up, I really couldn't see the screen that well. And that was because of the glare, because you've got to remember, it's not a scope, it's more like a TV screen. So the glare was right there. So I went in and I got this piece and I put it on, and okay, it did a little better, but that's, you know, the only way to block it out is to put your eye up against it, and that's kind of odd. And then the other part was I went and put a hat on, so I had a shade over top. So if you think about it, a lot of times I wear a face mask, so I don't have my hat. I mean, I guess I could put my hat on over it, just something I'd have to get used to doing. But if it's real cold out, you know, I have a toboggan on. So at that point, it kind of defeats the purpose for me. But you know, that's just how I see this. The other portion of it is eye relief's tight on this. I mean, look at it. I got it back as far as I can get it. If this was the Excalibur Rev X with that longer length of pull, I'm not sure I could get it back to a comfortable level with it. The other part that I find I'm cautious on is, you know, when you, like I did last night, it takes about 3 or 4 seconds to turn it on, split second to hit it again, and then it goes into sleep mode. Well, my buddy and I are going to Missouri this year, second week of November. We're going to hunt the rut, last week of bow season out there. Well, unlike where I live in Virginia, where deer are raised being chased by hounds, so the does, when they raise the deer, You know, we're the first hour or two and that last hour or two, at least where I'm at in Virginia, that, 11 to 1, I don't see a lot of activity. Maybe if it was, bitter cold or snowing, but we don't get a lot of that, at least where in the mountains, yes, where I'm at now. So that's you know, I'm, I don't normally, sometimes I'm not in the woods anyway, but, I don't, like I said, I don't always, have a hat on. So, but I'm thinking about being out in Missouri. I've hunted out there, and any of you guys that hunted the Midwest, they act like the deer that you see on TV. It's not uncommon for a buck to come cruising through 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. I mean, does it happen every day? No, but if it happens while you're there and you're not prepared for it, it's an issue. So, you think about it, and sometimes you don't have that split second. Here's the prime example. The last time I hunted in Missouri, I was in a stand in an apple orchard, and they called him Shorty. He was a nice, big, mature 10-point, and literally, and I mean big, had a big Roman nose, big body, but he had tines. All 10 of his tines were like 3 inches long, so they called him Shorty. And it was early in the hunt. And listen, Shorty was big. He was 250, 260 maybe. Again, had the big wide. He came into my right, and I never heard him. And by the time he came in front of me, I could have shot him because I was just hunting. I was still hunting with a crossbow. I just had I think I had a Hawk multi-reticle. I could have picked it up and shot the deer without doing anything. Well, this here, if it's on standby, which it kind of would be at 1 in the afternoon, you're hitting the button, and then you're hitting the range button once to activate it, and second to set the distance. So now you've had to hit 3 buttons, and maybe you don't have the time to hit 3 buttons because Shorty never stopped. Now I could have got a shot. I could have grunted at him and stopped him quick enough to get one on there, but Shorty was on a mission. And his mission was to go find a girlfriend. And I let Shorty go, and I didn't fill my buck tag that week, so that's one for the books that I wish I would have rethunked that, trying to be greedy and get the big tall guy, but I didn't get the big tall guy. So the other part of this scope, and I said it in my first video, this is not for everybody, okay? You have to be not mechanical, but technical. Mechanical is one thing. You can mount a scope and sight it in on a traditional scope. Even the bursts, you just have to put in a few truing spots. But if you look, I mean, this thing's, it's got 5 buttons, and some of them are long push, and some of them are short push, and things like that. So you have to be comfortable with the technical side of this scope. And I don't know if everybody is. I'm not even sure I am. There's some things I like a lot about this scope. And it's not really a scope, it's more of a night vision thing that's made to fit a crossbow. But I don't know if I like it enough that it's my full-time piece. I'm gonna say that. Just thinking of, and it was being out here in a day like today. Again, first thing in the morning, last light, can't beat it. Seriously, can't beat it. Get out here and I'm just, hunting scenarios are going through my head, and I'm like, yeah, there's some distractors out there that I'm not sure I want to put up with. But I'm going to leave it at this. It takes a lot to sight this thing up and sight it in, get it set up and get it going. It's not, I want to say it's not for the weak at heart. I mean, anybody can get through it, but the question is, do you want to get through it? And for some, the juice might not be worth the squeeze. It's not big money scope. I mean, when you look at electronic scope, it's nice and small. It's very light. It does feel good on top of this bow. It does have the short eye relief. What else is it missing? It's missing the remote. Again, not a big deal. And I'll show you, I don't have it on once, twice, and then you would have your dot. Now, it's a lot easier when that's sitting on if you have a support, shooting sticks or whatever, but when you have it up, now this is a light bow, but there's some heavier bows out there. There's some longer bows that, maybe when you get it up, it kind of wants to sag on you a little bit. So you have to keep that in mind before you make your decision. This is not the end all for ranging scopes, period. Does it beat the Does it beat the Garmin? I'd probably take this over the Garmin. The Garmin's got the cable, it's big, it's blocky, and when the battery's out, it's done. You know, if it doesn't light up, you got nothing. I'm not sure I would take it over the Burst at this moment, because the Burst, what's wrong with the Burst? It's long and it's heavy. But when it's more of a traditional, what we're kind of used to, if you're a multi-reticle guy, and you have the remote, so bang bang, the Bluetooth remote, bang bang, and you're good. And you do have a crosshair in case in case that doesn't work. That's a 20-yard crosshair, but it works. You have the Certus is due out. It's March, another 2 months that's coming out. We don't know anything until it happens. I mean, on paper, it looks like it's got what everybody's looking for, minus it's not going to be variable in the power. It's not a 2 to 7, it's just a straight 4 power. I've been hunting with a Husky-Mall, which is a straight 4 power. I actually don't have a problem with it, but it's got a huge field of view. It's got great glass. It's a turret, so there is some of that going on too. It's it's not much different. I'm still taking a rangefinder, and unless I just set a 0 and just hoping everything comes in within, say, 40 yards, set it at 30, then I'm good. But before you jump into this, there are some people that love this scope, and I don't know if that's going to be fair to everyone. So the guys that have it love it. I'm kind of on the fence, honestly. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. And maybe it's just a comfort factor. It's a lot to set up. You really do. You're not just, when you go to zero it in, you're moving different things around, and you're basically putting this in, say, a shooting vise, like a lead sled, or if you have a bog pod death gripper, you could lock it down, because you want to shoot it. You have to shoot it, and then let's say your arrow is high left. It's kind of like your vertical days. You're moving the sight high left, versus with a traditional scope, you're moving it, you move it the other way. So there's a little bit more to it to set up. Again, it's electronic. To my knowledge, there's no cover. It does have, scope cap there, but it's electronic. Supposedly it's water resistant, watertight. But if you're getting in a driving rain, I don't know. I've seen plenty of videos, guys hunting in the snow, so it definitely can handle the cold temperatures. So think about it. My advice is it's whatever's good for you. I'm not here to guess for you. I would tell you, if you got a buddy that's got one, or reach out to somebody that has one, that you could go look at it and see. For the guys that get them set up, they're extremely comfortable with it. They want that. They want that video part of it, which again is a fantastic part of it if you want to video your hunt, which is a plus. And and there are some times I wish that I had that. I've had some fun hunts over the years. Didn't always kill the biggest, but some of the hunts were just great. And it would have been nice to have that on film. So I'm going to leave it with this. Do I recommend it? I recommend it if you like the electronic portion, if you like the video portion, if you like that extreme low light and extreme, capabilities that this thing brings in. I like that portion of it. If you need it simple, then I don't recommend it. If you prefer just to set up, say, a Burris with the 3 or 4 truing points, and then you're good, you might be better off with that, minus the weight and the size. So it's worth looking at. It's not for everyone, but if it's for you, I think you're going to love it. And that's my opinion. And I hope this 4-part review has helped you. I didn't really get into the sighting in, because it is just sighting it in. You shoot the arrow and then you move it. It's, I did do the ranging, and I used my rangefinder, and I just checked it versus this, and they're within a half a yard of each other. So that could either be my rangefinder or this. You don't know that. But all that worked beautifully, and I left it in the holdover mode. That's with the big crosshair, and it did drop the dot like it's supposed to. So it does what it's supposed to do. You just have to make sure if you're interested in doing all that with it. So I'll sign off for now. Again, happy hunting. This is your cup of tea. You'll like it, but if you never had one, it takes a little bit to get going. But once you get going, I think you'll probably like it. So turkey season's coming up. Good luck for all you turkey hunters out there, and hope somebody brings you a big, long, fat beard and some 1.5-inch spurs. Have a good day.